Hello you fans, Radaradz here, and welcome to a deck profile with Buster Blader in its Pendulum form. So originally the build was a really Skullcrobat Joker. I've had to recently change that to add it into the deck, but this seems to be stable enough. Although Buster Blader is quite a weird archetype, it doesn't have the support it needed. Red Eyes got better support, Blue Eyes definitely got better support, Black Soldier technically got the worst support, but it works for what it needs to be at the moment. So it's not 100% consistent, it's more of a fun deck. So we have triple Dragon Pit Magician in order to be a scale 8 and special summon out our Buster Blader. And then we have Dragon Pulse Magician, which is our scale 1. That's used as a one-off because we can go into rank 4 plays or level 5 synchro plays or level... I don't think we can go in level 8. We can go into a level 8 synchro play if we use Dragon Pulse with a Destruction Sword, Buster Blader, and a Wizard Buster Blade. So you can go into level 8 plays too, but it's not 100% at the moment. Then one Buster Blader Destruction Swordmaster. This is to destroy one of those cards. It's a I can't even remember what this card does. I can't remember. Its name is Buster Blader White on the field in the graveyard, which it should have been just Buster Blader in general. That would have made it a lot more easier and a lot more viable in the deck. When it destroys a person monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can tag one of those monsters and equip it to this card. And once per turn, you can send one monster equipped with this card and destroy all monsters your opponent controls with the same type. So it has a bit like a DNA surgery effect, which is good. Which is good in that sense. Then we have 3 Buster Blader, the generic normal effect. 500 attack for each dragon type your opponent controls are in their graveyard. Simple. Then we have 2 Oath Dragon Magician, as that adds our magicians from our extra deck to our hand, so we can use both Dragon Pit materials, or when it's special summoned or normal summoned, add Magician or Odd Eyes from your graveyard to your hand, again for Dragon Pits recycle. And then Skullcrobat Joker to search out Wisdom Eye. One Arms Buster Blade. This one is the one that's already face-up spells and traps cannot activate their effects, so this shuts down pendulum effects. It can be dangerous against monarchs. It can be quite a vicious card if you use it right, at least. And you can send it to the graveyard to increase your monster attack by 1000. You can only equip to a Buster Blader monster you control. Buster Blader you control, so these two classes Buster Bladers. So that's good. And then we have 3 Wisdom Eyes to search out. 1 Wizard Buster Blade. This is the alternative, and it is quite a lot good. It has an Abyss Dweller-like effect. While it's equipped, your opponent's monster in your opponent's graveyard cannot activate their effect, so that's nice. That's nice as well. Good against Burning Abyss, and also good against Monarchs. And you can send this card to the graveyard to tag one Destruction Sword monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand, which is another good way of recycling this card. Then we have the Searcher for the deck, Companion of the Destruction Swordmaster. When it's normal summon, add a Destruction Swordmaster card from your deck to your hand. So most likely you'll either add Buster Blader. That's why he's a one-off, because then we can have a searchable Buster Blader. You can add one of these guys. You can add Dragon Buster Blade. You can add Art Fusion, which is the most common one. You add one, and also we got a weird card we'll go into in a bit. So the pet dragon essentially has an alternative effect as well. You can tribute this card to special summon one Buster Blade from your hand or graveyard, which is a nice effect, because then you can go for plays like special summon your Buster Blader, equip your Buster Blade, special summon it, go for your Synchro, that resurrects the Buster Blade, and do all those plays. Or once in your graveyard, and if you control a Buster Blader, you can discard one Destruction Swordmaster card and special summon this card. Again, going into synchro plays there. Then we have 2 Destruction Sword Dragon Buster Blade, which is one of the best of the support. Target a Buster Blader, equip it. It can over-equip by special summon itself, but its effect while equipped, your opponent can't special summon monsters from the extra deck, which is very vicious. It is Monarchs in that sense. It shuts down your opponent's extra deck, and that can be very dangerous. Very dangerous indeed. So yeah, that's a good 2-off for the deck to run. And then Tinkerbow's to recycle and possibly go into Formula Synchron if you really need to, or Reborn Mist to go into your level 8 Synchron and add it back to your hand and recycle and do stuff like that. Then we've got 1 Regeki, 3 Pendulum Call to search out our Pendulum Scales, 2 Upstart Goblin, originally 3 but switched down to 2 because of Skullcrow by Jokers, 3 Destruction Swordmaster Fusion. This is a great fusion. If you use this with DNA Surgery, you can fuse from your opponent's side of the field as well as your own. It has a Super Poly-like effect where you can fusion some monster, a Buster Blader monster as a material, a Buster Blader monster used as a material from monsters from either side of the field. So you most likely would use Buster Blader and a Dragon type monster on your opponent's side of the field with DNA Surgery turning them all to Dragon types. And it's something your opponent cannot predict which one you're going to go for exactly. Sometimes they can, but most times they can't. And it doesn't target. If there's cards in your graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard and add it to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. So you can't fusion, add back to the hand, fusion, add back to the hand. You can't do it that way, but you can do some abuse. So that's good. That's good in that sense. And then we have Fate of Destruction Soulmaster. Or Soulman, by the looks of things. So this is a weird card where you can turn 3 monsters with the same type in your opponent's graveyard, banish them, and if you do, add target 1 Buster Blader monster or 1 Destruction Sword monster you control against damage attack for each banished card, which is a soul release. Very good, and it is a quick play, so even player's turn. This card in your graveyard, discard 1 Destruction Sword card in your hand and add this to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn again. So this is a nice effect to continually destroy your opponent's graveyard resources, but since we're going in the Pendulum era, this is not going to be too applicable. That's why the support kind of died in that sense. Then we have 3 DNA Surgery to turn your monsters into Dragon types. This also hurts Cosmo because then you can fuse off them like Chimera Tech does. So that's that, and 2 Color Haunted to reborn your Buster Blader and do plays like that. Then the extra deck, Castel, 11, and Drakosaka self-explanatory. Formula Synchron to get an extra draw, Sansara to reborn Buster Blader, Moonlight to bounce back, 3 Buster Dragon, Trampler Dragon, weird name. It's a generic monster. All monsters your opponent controls become Dragon type. So it has a DNA Surgery effect. One of the first ones to actually have that. And its second effect is once per turn, if you don't control a Buster Blader monster, you can target 1 Buster Blader in your graveyard and special summon it. So you can recruit your Buster Blader after you've synchroned with it. And once per turn during your opponent's turn, target 1 Buster Blader you control and equip 1 Destruction Sword monster from your graveyard to your hand. From your graveyard to the target. So you can equip the no extra deck, the no activation of already face-up spells and traps, or the no activation of monster effects in the graveyard. So that's good. That's good in that sense, but they need a more diversity in their destruction swords to make them extremely viable. Then we have Stardust Dragon, Omega, and Skylight, all self-explanatory, Trishula, and then finally the boss monster of the deck, Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer. It requires 1 Buster Blader and a Dragon type monster. It needs to be fusion summoned, they can't be summoned by any other routes. Cannot attack your opponent directly, which is a really huge restriction, but the other Buster Blader can, so you can do it that way. It gains 1000 attack and defense for each Dragon type monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard, so that's a boost up from Buster Blader. Change all Dragon type monsters your opponent controls to defense position. Dragon type monsters your opponent possesses cannot activate their effects. So while they're on the field, they are essentially skill drained by your Buster Blader if you've got your Synchro out. Very, very vicious if you bring this out. And if this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage, which is another plus from there. So you can bring out a very powerful board, but this deck is subject to Regeki and Dark Hole. It can be easily outed. But that's mainly through mass destruction, then through small exam forces and stuff like that, that really doesn't really hurt it that much. It can shut down the lockdown because if they tribute as a cost, they're no longer on the field, they're no longer subject to, well, actually cannot activate their effects. They cannot activate their effects, so they can't, that does shut that down actually. With spells and traps, they're not shut down, so yeah. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this deck profile. This deck is a little inconsistent, but it's more of a fun deck, so take it with a pinch of salt. You can make it a little bit more consistent, maybe with a 4-power engine, now that we have the odd eyes, but this was built before that engine was realized or viable, so you may want to take another look at it. So yeah, thank you for watching. Mataran signing out.